Firehouse by Kiss. This is one of their classic tunes. It's always been one of my faves. It's chock full of cool guitar riffs. It's got a great solo by the one and only Ace Frehley, and he actually played it. And the song even has cowbell in it. What's there not to love? We're not only taking a look at the rhythm parts, but we're also going to be taking a look at all the lead parts and solo also, as well, too. And that's what we're doing today on Ray Plays Guitar, and we're going to do it as simply and as accurately as possible. Woo-hoo! Yeah! Let's get into it. This song appeared on their debut album, which came out in 1974, and it also appeared on their Alive album, which came out a few years later. And then it came out on their double platinum album, where they remixed a bunch of songs. And this one wound up, I think, a little bit faster, and they brought it up to standard tuning, which, by the way, this song is in E flat, and I am tuned down to E flat, so it's a half step lower. Here's the opening riff. Here's the intro riff. Oops. The first time he goes all the way up here. It's the only time he does it in the song. That's why I always forget to do it. But anyway, so he's playing, I just played this intro with two notes. Second fret on the 4th and 3rd string. It's an A5 chord. Then I'm playing the 4th and 2nd fret on the same strings. Then I'm going to take that same shape and move it up a whole step. So those are the 3 chord shapes we're dealing with. So. Then we're going to go up to the 7th fret, same 2 strings, 4th and 3rd strings. And here I'm starting with both notes on the 7th fret. This chord is 9 and 7. I'm just going back and forth. Back to our first chord. Oh, actually, no, we're going to play that first chord up on the 14th fret. The second time we play this, it gets a little bit more involved. We're going to play an A5 chord. Same chord we played before, but I'm including the open 5th string now. Then, going to the 2nd chord, we're throwing this open A string in between. And then when I go up to the 7th fret here, I'm going to play triads. I'm playing these 3 strings now. 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, all on the 7th fret here. This next chord I'm going to, 9, 7, 8. Going to go back and forth. Back to an A5 in open position. So here's the whole intro. So then the intro of the song continues into this next riff. This is actually the chorus riff. So here we're playing single notes, starting with this A on the 5th fret 6th string, then going to G, 2 frets lower, and going to the open E. So we have A on the 5th, G on the 3rd, and then E open. A, G, that's the riff. You want to make sure you put a rest in between between these notes. Rest, 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 rest. After we do the single note riff, we're going to come up here and do this little thing up here. This time, however, we don't start on the D triad, we start on this G. The first part But in this part, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. We don't play any pickup note here. We start right on the G on beat 1. And then we just do that whole thing. So that's the whole intro right there. Now we're into the first verse. She'll adore you, and she'll floor you with her wisdom, and you'll love it and think of it till you lose all. That's the verse. We're going to play this A5 chord and rest. Now on the studio version, it sounds like they're doing this. Hitting muted strings with a down and an up. Live, they tend to just play it like this. I've also seen Paul play where he'll play the chord twice and then pull off to open strings and then mute everything with this. And he's probably doing something else with this hand, you know, being all showmanshipy and whatnot. And then they do that move again. So the first verse is just a 4-line verse, and then they go into this little interlude. C5 to a G5, B flat 5, B5, E5. All these chords are anticipated, meaning they're coming in. We kind of jump to them a little bit early. We're hitting them on the and of 4. The first chord, however, starts on the downbeat. 1, 2, and 3, so those 3 hits at the end are all on the ups as well. So after that interlude, they go into another verse. She can move you and improve you. So not only is this the second time we're hitting a verse, this verse is a little longer too. So we're adding this little lick here, give it a little bit of interest. She can move you and improve you. After that second A5, we're going to hit this note C on the 3rd fret 5th string. And do a little slight bend. It's like a lazy bend. So I play it, I bend it up, I kind of choke it at the top of the bend, and then do it again. Second time going to the open A string, to this note G on the 6th string, 3rd fret, to the open E. And she'll thrill you, and she'll chill you. So you'll feed her. Now, interesting thing, this, like the 3rd line of this verse, or the 3rd time they're playing this in this verse, he doesn't do that riff. Live, I think he does. And the quicker you get sicker. So that verse is longer, and with the addition of... After that, we do this interlude again. C5, 2, 3, and 4. Flat 5, E5, E5. That sets us up for the chorus. Get the firehouse. So we already know this part because we had it in the intro. Get the firehouse. Now right afterwards, we go into what I'm going to call the bridge, and this sets us up for the solo. They stick this little bridge section in before the solo and right after the solo. So it's kind of bookends for the solo. Help you kind of remember the form of the song. So this part. So this section starts off on a B5. Here's one place you could play it. 2nd fret 5th string. Do a power chord. The next chord is an E5. F5 is the next chord. You can play it right here on the 1st fret of the 6th string. Next chord is a G5. I'm playing it like this with open strings. That takes us into the solo. The solo is just played over the chorus riff. 4 times, you do that 4 times on the studio version, 8 times for the live version. So that's the rhythm part for the solo. After the solo, you hit this bridge again. Then we go into the intro riff again, the second half of that first intro. The only difference here is that we're going to throw this at the end of it. Single notes, starting on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, this note D, bending that up a full bend, bringing it back down. 5th fret, same string, C, and then playing D, E, and G. D on the 5th fret, 5th string, E 2 frets higher, and then G on the 5th fret, 4th string. After that, chorus riff. Now it changes. Woo-woo, yeah! So now we have this outro riff. Starts off with this, but then you rest and then come back in with. The chords would be this, 5 and 4, and then 4 and 2, 2 and open. And then I would just play the open A string, and then play 4 and 4 on the 4th and 3rd string, 2 and 2, and then the A5 power chord. So that's basically all the rhythm parts. Let's look at the lead stuff. Beginning of the song, he hits a in the intro. Woo, yeah! So right before they go into the chorus riff in the intro of the song, Ace will do his classic move. It's like a full bend vibrato. He's starting on this D note, 7th fret, 3rd string, bending it up a full bend to the note E, and then just going back and forth kind of in time. The next lead line happens during that little interlude over the C5 chord, G5, B5, B flat 5, and then the B5 into the E5. He plays a... Oops. So, first note is this bend up to the note C, starting on the 11th fret, 2nd string, doing a full bend. I think there's like 3 slow bends. On the 3rd one, you're going to bend it up, bring it back down, and work your way down the pentatonic scale here. Playing C pentatonic here, C minor. So, bending up and back on the 11, going down to 8 of the same string, and then 10 of the 3rd string. Now with that, you could throw in this note also, where I'm holding that, and then bending this note up to that same pitch. So you have lots of dissonance, but as the bent note approaches our target note, which is also being played, those beats kind of go away. So you go from that tension into the release, which sounds way cool on the electric guitar. Second move. It's a similar move, but we're just starting on the 10th fret of the 3rd string, note F, bending it up to G, bring it back down. You do a pull off into the 8th fret, ending on this note C, 10th fret of the 4th string. You could also do this move here by holding down the 8th fret of the 2nd string while you bend up the 10th fret of the 3rd string. Next. Oh wait, I think he moves up here. The first time. He moves up. We do a series of these sixths, which I love. These double stop sixths. This interval of a sixth. At this point, the B flat 5 chord is happening. So we're going to go into this position. My first finger is playing the note B flat here on the 1st string, 6th fret. Then my 2nd finger is playing the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Kind of sliding into that 3rd, and then hitting the 1st string. Then, same 2 strings, but they're both on the 8th fret. Then we move that up chromatically a half step. Move up 1 fret, then move up 1 more and play those notes together. So then the next time they hit this interlude, he starts off the same. But when he gets to this part, the B flat 5 part, starts here, but instead of ascending, he descends. Going down 2 frets, and then going down both on the 3rd fret, and then taking that shape, going down a whole step to the 1st fret. And then comes the B5 and the E5, which you can grab here and play E5 here. When I play this E5, I'm also playing these open 1st and 2nd strings. So the first time, he goes up. 2nd time, he goes down. Then we go into the intro into the chorus. So over this part, starting here on the note E, 9th fret of the 3rd string. Going to bend that up, a full bend, bring it back down. Going to the 7th fret of the same string, ending on the note B, 7th fret of the 4th string. Now we could play it just like that. You can also throw in this note on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. It's the same kind of business we were doing previously with a... Actually, that's the exact move we're just doing here. So that happens over the B chord. Over the E chord, we're going to take that finger and move it up a whole step. So now my 3rd finger is on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. Doing that same sort of thing, but now ending, though, on the same note B that we ended on before. 7th fret, 4th string. Then we're going to move up a half step, do the same thing. Exact same thing. That happens over the F5 chord. And then over the G chord, we're going to move up 2 frets. Now my 3rd finger's on the 14th fret. Doing that same figure, but now ending by bending up on this 13th fret of the 2nd string. This note is C, bending it up to D. Those lead lines are played during this over that bridge section going into the solo. But I believe live he doesn't do that. He leaves those off so that he can get ready for the solo itself, which is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he starts off with this pickup note where he'll bend up the 7th fret of the 3rd string, this note D. He's bending that up a whole step to the note E. On the downbeat, He starts a series of this chicken picking thing. Now basically what I'm doing is I'm hitting a very short note and I'm muting it immediately and then playing it again and muting that immediately too. You can do this with just the pick itself. You just gotta pick and mute very quickly. I like to use a hybrid picking technique, so I'm using my middle finger in addition to the pick. So I'm starting off by actually touching the third string with my second finger to mute the string while I pick down, and then I pluck the string with my finger. Giving you that kind of a thing. So we're doing that while bending up on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and we're bringing it down slightly and slowly. When you come out of that, you're going to hit this 5th fret 3rd string, C, ending on the note A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next phrase. Here he kind of slips into a major pentatonic, starting on the 9th fret of the 6th string. This note is C sharp. Going 9 of 6, 7 of 5, 9 of 5, 7 of 4, ending that. So I think that starts on beat 2 of the measure. Then we're going to go into a half bend on the 9th fret of the 4th string. Do that twice. And then going 9, 7, 9 of the next string. Going back to this note A, 7th fret, 4th string. Next phrase. 7, 5, pull off on the 4th string to the 7th fret of the 5th string. Then doing a muted note, then the 5th fret of the 5th string, muted note, 3rd fret of the 5th string. So what we have so far, 2, 3, 4. Now the next phrase. Starting on the 5th fret of the 5th string. I'm going to do a hammer on from 5 to 7 on that string. Then play 5th fret of the 4th string twice. Muted string again. And then hammer on from 5 to 7. And then again. And then it goes. Bending up on the 7th fret of the 3rd string again. Starting pre-bend. We want to pre-bend that note. Slowly bringing that down to the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Then finishing it off with a bend on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Up to the note A. That's the first half of the solo. Studio version, the solo ends right there. But the live version continues with this little line. Bending up this note G, 8th fret of the 2nd string. Going up to the note A, full bend. Then bringing it down, ending on this note C, 5th fret, 3rd string. I'm going to do that 4 times. Then classic Ace moves right here. Doing the same riff. That's the move. We're doing it again here. So I'm starting here, 5th fret of the 5th string, full step hammer on to the 7th fret, 5th fret of the 4th string, going to play that twice. Now, I'm going to start here where I left off and do the same thing. I'm going to do a hammer on, 5 to 7, going to the 5th fret of the 3rd string now. Then I'm going to do it again. So. Then. We're still in this A minor pentatonic or blues scale. We're just throwing in some extra notes here. Here, going from 5, 6, 7 to the 5th fret of the next string. Then the same thing starting here. Now, on the 3rd string, I'm going to go 5, 7, 8 to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Now that I'm here, I'm going to go 5, 7, 8 on the 2nd string to the 5th fret of the 1st string. Then I'm going to go to the 8th fret of the 1st string. Going to hit that note. Then go to the 5th fret of that 5th fret of that same string. And do a hammer on and pull off. Back to the 8th fret. To the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And then bend that up a full step. Well, that was Firehouse by Kiss in a nutshell. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell. But most of all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.